Greetings, everyone. I have this message to deliver about 6 weeks now, and I literally said, I'm not delivering no message. Send somebody else. But if you're a spiritual person, if you know how that go, okay? Because you can't play with the spirits. They'll discipline you, okay? Now, before I get into it, I'm going to say that Nebuchadnezzar was a king of Babylon. And he became so proud, and he wouldn't listen to anybody, okay? And because of that, his power was stripped from him. Yes, his power was taken from him. He was removed from his royal throne and stripped. Go read it for yourself if you don't already know it. So when we're doing God's work, we can't be proud. It will be stripped. This message is for Miss Donna. But before I get into it, Miss Donna, I have heard you say on numerous occasions that you don't understand how commoners, you might not use that word, but that's what you mean. You don't understand how commoners could be getting message from God to give to celebrity. For some reason, you say you see all these people, these low people, delivering message, and you don't understand why it is just celebrity. Let me explain to you why it's celebrity. Because you have influence, and you have influence upon people. And when you're chosen, and I have used the word mandate, when you are given a mandate to do a particular work, you have influence upon people. And therefore, it is the commoner, the little barefoot, hungry boy or girl who the Spirit will use. Because oftentimes people who are elevated, especially if you are elevated by God, often need a reality check that when you're going up, you can also come down. Okay? And you're one of those persons who is blessed, but very proud. And while pride is a good thing, when it comes to pride, when it relates to spiritual matters, it's not a good thing. Now, a few weeks ago, like I said, about 6 weeks ago, the Spirit came to me. Yes, Spirit came to me and gave me a message for you. Whether you want to accept it or reject it, Donna, that is your business. Spirit said that your pride is becoming so out of hand that you are about to lift your frock. I'm saying it the way I heard it. You're lifting your frock over your head, searching and seeking for attention from human beings. And it's not the human that elevates you. Because in spite of the fact that you got all these individuals who are donors supporting you, they are not the ones who elevate you. They're the ones who work alongside you to do this awesome work that you've been doing in the last couple of years. Now, Miss Donna, you're the type of person where if a million person come out and sing your praise, you don't hear them. But if one person come and say something negative, it gets to you. That is pride. That is ego. And all the great things that you do, but guess what? Your ego is getting the best of you. Now, you've always shout your support for the JLP party. You've always said this prime minister is your prime minister. You said the most. You even chastise folks who share their story with you of struggles. I remember hearing this woman who's blind talk about her struggles and how difficult it's been for her, but she's been a very ambitious woman, and because of that, she achieved all these things. She was helping you to understand how difficult it was to live on a Jamaican teacher salary and the things she's had to do to propel herself. You did not hear her. So you were there saying that the salary she's getting is great salary, not realizing that this individual have made sacrifices, have done things that some people would never do just to achieve her success, and that not everyone is going to demand such a pay. because they don't have the education. Okay, so listen more, be more sensitive to folks. It might not be your experience, but put yourself in people's shoes, and that will help you understand. This is not what that's about, though. The Spirit said you're raising your fractal. That's what I heard, not something I made up. You're lifting your fractal over your head, trying to gain the attention of human beings. And I tell you in the beginning of this video that Nebuchadnezzar, a proud king, was stripped from his throne because of pride. And because you are blessed, I'm delivering the message for you to slow down, slow your roll. And I'm going to ask you to stop disrespecting people who are spiritual. If you don't understand it, then don't say anything. Because as long as someone says God, even if they're lying, once you say that you're delivering a message, the Holy Spirit will use you and can use you. So your sarcastic remarks about people who bring messages, if I were you, I'll roll that back. And if they're lying or deceiving, what are they deceiving people about? They're collecting money. That's a whole thing. Let God deal with them. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is from my own fruition. You mentioned that you see people jumping in canal to rescue dog and is receiving accolades. Remember, you said you didn't want accolades. You weren't doing it for any of those things. In the beginning, you just did it because you knew how to use your phone to do positive things. And in all that you have achieved in these years, you've achieved wealth. So you have been rewarded and awarded. But for some reason, you need to be acknowledged by the Prime Minister to the point where you're forgetting that Jamaica is where your business is at. Jamaica is where you really get your fame. All the people around the world tuned into you when you live in Jamaica. So if I were you, I'd be very careful about what you're saying, because you don't realize how much leeway you have gotten. People cannot go to Western Union and pick up an old woman in her 60s and 70s, cannot go to Western Union 3 weeks in a row and not get banned. And you would speak online about all the ways you would collect your money from your donors to bless people. And nothing happened. Nothing stopped you. So your government would have seen and turned a blind eye. During the pandemic, people were locked away and your place was still full. People don't like the truth. People are going to be vexed, but I don't care. I can't afford to get whipped because I'm not delivering a message. You got a lot of leeway from your government, and they have a lot of things to say about Andrew. But listen, he had opportunities to shut you down. Andrew has told people they cannot go on the road and feed the hungry people, feed the homeless. There are individuals who are doing that work and they had to stop. Just don't want to name their names now. They had to stop. When Buju first came from prison and he went to go feed people, he was stopped. When he tried to get a charity going, he was banned from doing that. But you had free reign to the point where you grew wealthy. You're a wealthy woman. And I want you to start acknowledging that it's not just what you do, but it's what you also gain. You might not have entered it to gain, but as a result of what you did and your obedience, you gained so much till now you can call yourself a celebrity. And you can constantly tell people you're blessed, and you can share your wealth and show people. You can have a great life. You can leave a legacy for your children. So stop talking about just what you do for people. Think about what you have done and how it's caused you to be blessed. Your fractal is being raised over your head to give credence to mankind. The person who jumped off the canal to save the dog might seem like an insult to you to receive a reward. But that person was selfless. That person saved an animal's life and risked his own. It doesn't get more serious than that. Your donors and your supporters work together with you, and your willingness and your honesty made this a thing. I've said to you before, it is not just about what you're doing for the people. It's about how you are also elevating. And they said the higher the monkey climb, the more they expose. And so the metaphor of your frock tail over your head falling apart, saying that you don't want accolade but crying about it, is something that you need to evaluate. Listen, you're not going to like somebody like me because I just keep it real. When you're doing great, I recommend you. I speak highly of you. And when I see you, when I hear the Spirit, I have no regard for anybody. I respect nobody when the Spirit says, speak. So you might not have seen all the wonderful things, and your supporters who feel like their job is to go out there and, attack folks because they tell you the truth. It's neither here or there. You can't shut down God's people, just like they can shut you down. Andrew could have shut you down during the pandemic, but he couldn't because you had a job to do. And whenever you have a job to do, there's an invisible shield of protection that's around you that even the persons who want to get rid of you cannot. But like Nebuchadnezzar, your wealth as it increases is bringing out a part of you that needs to go under subjection, Donna. And for people who have wisdom, who can listen to hear when someone is telling truth and someone mean you well, you like people, Miss Donna, who are yes people, yes sir, yes ma'ams. Whether you want to believe it's from the Spirit, good or bad spirit, that is up to you. But your fractal, I don't know what that means. Your fractal over your head is like you're exposing your undergarment. Not cute. Rein it in. Pull it in. It's not about accolades. It's not about awards or rewards. It's about doing the will of God. And I'm going to tell you also, consider yourself blessed and lucky, because a lot of persons spend their entire life dedicated, doing and suffering. They never move out of poverty. And they do so much. They get slapped and pushed around. But they still have to do the work. If accolades or acknowledgement or recognition is what you want, after you behave this way, when you receive it, it seems empty. If it is to come, it will come. It's not something you fight for. It's something that you would earn, not something you demand. You cannot demand awards or acknowledgement. It seems insincere when you do that. And I know your intention is good and intention is pure when you're going out to do all this work in your community and everywhere else that you go. Recognize the blessings of just being able to call somebody, and your name alone carries weight. I know a lot of people who started out doing God's work, but after a while they try to mix God's work with politics. If you are trying to get close to politicians to accept, for them to acknowledge you, then you're losing your way, because politics and religion does not mix. There are two things. If you look in history, you understand that politics and religion don't coincide. That's why you don't see religious people in the parliament more often. You're slowly seeing that there's some merging of these two over time, but it was something that they're separate and apart. You're coming undone. You're so angry to the point where you're not thinking. You see, the more fame you get, the more you become undone trying to get more fame. Fame is a very addictive thing, Donna. It's addictive. It's a thing that will make you lose your way because you're famous, but you want more of it. You need to roll that back. And if you're doing God's work, do God's work. And leave politics alone. Leave That stuff, because it makes your head big. Ego will cause you to lose your blessing. When people come out and tell you the truth, Donna, they bad mind you, they this, they that, whatever. That's okay. I'm just speaking the truth. And like I said, and those who know, I hinted on my channel before, but today I'm like, what's the point? Why talk about asking for divine guidance and blessing, and when you get the hard jobs of delivering these types of message, you don't want to do it? So I've done it. I'm free. Continue to walk in the path of righteousness. Yeah, when you first started, Donna, you were so holy. You don't want to show cleavage. If anybody came to your house, you're pulling down your clothes. You're doing all kinds of stuff. And it shows me now that we shouldn't judge. So I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just delivering the message. We don't judge, because if someone was wearing a shorts, you'd be pulling down their clothes. If their cleavage was showing, you were pulling it up. And you show cleavage now. You do all of these things. So we don't judge each other. We just walk together as human beings, as family. And just remember to tell someone when they're going off course, hey, gently, come back on course. Okay? If your rewards from God is not enough, then you have to reevaluate why you're doing what you're doing. If it is to get acknowledgement from politicians, you've already lost your way. Roll it in. Before like Nebuchadnezzar, you lose your throne. So God bless everyone.